What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to another video. So, as the thumbnail and title may suggest, we're going to be getting on with a little bit more on the Caddy project. Hopefully you all enjoyed the last video of me fitting the Touran rear seat conversion into the Caddy. That is by no means finished, so if you've not already, smash that subscribe button, press that little bell to get a notification of when we post a new video, because there may be a bit of information in a future video that you need to know. So this episode is going to be about trying to make this Mark 7.5 Golf GTI or GTD front bumper fit onto the Caddy bumper. This is by no means a groundbreaking thing. There's been many people done it before, and it is shown over the internet in photos, but there's no one done a video on sort of explaining how to do it. I've never done it before, but I've spoken to a few different people and got a bit of advice on ways to do things. So we're gonna give it a go. Basic rough idea is we'll be cutting sort of the grill area of the Caddy bumper out and discarding that, leaving sort of a frame, and then we'll cut the grill area of the Golf bumper out and then we'll be bonding it on. Now there are several different ways of doing this. The two main ways of doing it are cutting them, so you're sort of essentially butting the panels together and you use a plastic welder, which is like a hot staple that melts the plastic together, and you then fill over it and do all that lot. The way I'm going for, we're going to be leaving material on this bumper and sitting this bumper on top, screwing it all together, but using PU adhesive, which is basically like a seam sealer sort of material, to bond them together. Now the reason for this is, plastic welding is all well and good, but I just think it might be a bit fragile. This way, this PU adhesive is actually flexible. So if you bump the bumper into a wall or a curb or something, the bumper should flex a little bit. And then obviously we'll be going over it using a fiberglass filler to fill it all in, get it all blended in and looking good. So I think the first thing I've got to do is get this bumper on the bench and work out where I want to cut it, give this bumper on the Caddy a wipe down, and then we will mark it out and just start cutting. And my tool of choice is going to be this air saw with a brand new blade in it, because it just cuts the plastic quite well. It's not like if you use an angle grinder, it melts it a lot more than this will, and a jigsaw is just a bit of a pain to get in. This is quite nice and easy to use. Hopefully it works, because if it doesn't work on this attempt, it's going to cost me £150 for a new Golf bumper and about 50 or 60 quid for a new Caddy bumper. So I'm not scared at all, but you don't know unless you try. So get these on the bench, give them a clean down, start marking some bits out, and then we'll start making some cuts. So I've marked that bumper out where I think it needs cutting. So what we're going to do is follow this swage line on the front bumper here all the way along. I've then put some masking tape on because this swoops up sort of round the headlight and into the wing. We're going to continue that line straight across to this back edge. I'm going to follow the wheel arch line down, and at the bottom here I've drawn a round on to take it back to the back corner. Now I drew that with, that's why you always keep your cutting discs, because you've got loads of different diameters and you'll find the right one you need. So yeah, both sides match. I've done the same on that side too, same radius, same point. I've took some measurements to make sure that line is the same as well, which it is. If you can see in the background, I've also removed the bumper from the Caddy as well. I think the first thing I need to do to work out where the Caddy bumper needs cutting is we'll cut this and get rid of all of this excess that we don't need. We can then offer this onto the Caddy bumper and then work out where we need to be cutting away so that you don't see things behind these grills. So what I want to do just before I go cutting too much of this is I want to find the centre of the bumper, because we've obviously got the badge on the Caddy bumper. It's dead centre of the van and we can use that to work out where we want to go. So we're going to cut all this away, so we've got no reference point. So I want to put a centre line mark down here that we're going to keep. So we'll try and strike a line down. Right, there we go. I found the centre point then, which is that line there, bottom one. It's just for checking, so we don't need that. That is the centre line of that bumper that we now want to be lining up with the centre of the badge on the van. So let's get this cut. Right, there's that cut and offered to get on the fashion. Somewhere there. So now I need to cut out all the grill area and things of the caddy bumper. So I think the first cut I'm going to do is we're just going to follow this crease line around this opening and cut all of that away and then offer it on again to see if it's any better. Right, there's an amount cut off both, so I'm going to mount the bumper back onto the caddy so that we know it's the exact right shape, and then we shall start looking at getting this sort of screwed to it. Yeah, but hopefully we'll be able to still cut up and trim bits when it's on the car. Here we are then, it's on. So this side we've screwed it here and screwed it at the bottom. I've taken dimensions both sides and it is in the same place both sides. This back edge we'll have to tidy this up to get the arch line through, but it's on. It's touching most places. We've got a nice gap now. Obviously we're gonna have to do something here to sort that out, but it's pretty consistent all the way around. To this side as well, screwed on again. Now, what I've managed to do, or what I've done is, I've kept the bottom of the original bumper because there are fixing points on that back to the body of the van, or the front frames. So I've tried to keep them. What we'll be doing with them is screwing the bottom of this bumper into that once this grill's in there. I don't want to go putting the grill in yet because it's a pain to get out. A little problem we'll have is that, I don't know if you can see that, this towing eye on the Golf bumper is too high, so we're going to have to move it down. So what I've done is I've cut the one off the other bumper and I'm going to keep that, and we'll cut this out and then we'll put that in there. Now I have ordered a plastic welder for that, so we'll be plastic welding that piece in, but the plastic welder's not turned up yet. But I think that looks pretty cool, certainly heading in the right direction. There's a lot of gluing and filler work and stuff to do now. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do, because obviously we've got 3mm-ish, 4mm of plastic here as a step. I don't want to go filling all of that with filler. So I'm going to get the angle grinder with a flat disc in it, take this off, and I'm going to go round all of the edges and feather them. Now, not to nothing, but I just want to feather the edges off ever so slightly, to, yeah, just minimise that thickness on the edge, so we're not going to go using loads and loads and loads of filler. The adhesive I'm going to use then is this Tiger Seal, U-Pol Tiger Seal, PU adhesive. Seals bonds permanently, can be overpainted, flexible. So yeah, hopefully it'll work. With me feathering this off down to obviously thinner material, it's going to mean the material's weaker. But what I'm going to do is I've got 2 tubes of that adhesive, so I've got 620mm of adhesive, and I'm going to absolutely leather it onto this when we go bonding it together, all over the edges as well, so it's all coming splurging out of the edges, which will then mean it's all solid again. So yeah, hopefully feathering it out won't make a problem, but we'll try. I'm going to stop the feathering where this recess is, so we'll stop this here and stop it here. So this is still full thickness, and hopefully that will then make this less harsh than it is, because it dips in there obviously by the depth of the recess. So let's mark this, get it back on the bench, get the grinder, make some more mess, and then we'll try it back on. So now I've gone around and done all that sanding, it has closed this gap up no end, and just here, you can see, and obviously just here, it thins it and it just softens that quite a lot. So when we go putting filler on it, it isn't going to be as big a filler line. Now down here, I'm thinking this isn't quite sitting in the right place. I'm thinking if I cut this off here, that should send that back to where it wants to go. There is the bumper sat on the bench, and so it's been on and off a few times. I've clipped all the grills in now as well, just to confirm that the golf bumper is the correct shape for everything that we're trying to do and making it fit. It's fitting pretty well on the bench. I've got to cut another little bit out of here to clear this, which will cut all of that away anyway to relocate it, but for now I'll cut a bit more out of that of access. I've just cut a load more out of this to allow this bottom part of the bumper to clear the grill. Now this I've put a couple of choice screws in, but each one of those tabs will be screwed to this bumper, and that'll obviously all be glued as well. We've got clearance everywhere to be able to clip these grills in and out, which is what we were looking for. This one obviously has got clearance here as well, and same this side. Time now to mount this back to the van, take the golf bumper off, drill a load of holes along the top edge of it for us to screw it all together so that the adhesive can go off. Clean both parts, and then we'll get the mastic in front of the heater to get it nice and warm so it comes out easier. We'll get the mastic on the bumper, we'll stick them together, get it screwed up, and then leave it for a few days to go off. Seems to be working at the minute. Right, yeah, let's time lapse this. Let's roll. I've put masking tape on there just to give me a bit of a guide as to where to run the adhesive. Bumper has been sanded, sort of keyed with 120, and it's been cleaned with degreaser. Back of this bumper exactly the same, 120 just to smooth it down a little bit and key it, and been cleaned with degreaser. The adhesive's been sat in front of the heater for 5-10 minutes to soften so that it's easy to come out of the gun. So let's get some of that laid. Oh, pre-drilled the load of holes in the bumper as well. So nothing left to do. Let's stick it on. I'm gonna give a massive shout out to Hef at Caddy R36 on Instagram, who gave me quite a bit of advice on sorting this bumper out, as he's done quite a few in the past. Go and check out his Instagram, as he's got an absolutely insane Caddy 2K running an R36 V6 engine, 4-wheel drive DSG running gear, and it's running about 340 horsepower. Massive thank you to Hef for the advice. And there we go, guys, there's that bonded on. Obviously the screws are on there until the adhesive's gone off. But it's screwed up both sides, along the top, and also I've screwed the bottom together as well. So I'm going to leave it now for like 3 or 4 days. The bumper's staying on the van as it is, I'm not taking it off yet. Just to let the adhesive cure as much as it can. And then we will then look at moving the towing eye hole, and then I suppose start looking at sanding and filling and all sorts this bumper to get it looking good. So yeah, let me show you it up close. So we've got to try and sort the back of this arch out as well. I need to probably cut the end of the bumper off just so that it sits quite right. It looks a mess at the minute, but this adhesive I think is sandable or easy to get off at the end, hopefully, of the face of the bumper. Obviously got it peppered with screws and along there as well. And then yeah, same down this side. And again, we'll cut the bumper a bit short in that arch. That is that bonded on and screwed on for the moment. Obviously the screws are only in there until the adhesive's gone off. We'll remove them and fill them all in. The adhesive doesn't really, it doesn't say anything on the tube how long it takes to go off. But in my head, leaving it as long as possible is the best bet. So, what is this, Saturday today? So we'll leave it for the rest of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and we'll probably start looking at Wednesday. So it's going to have a good 3.5 to 4 days to cure, which hopefully should be enough. Obviously, I'll check it Monday morning, have a little feel and see what I think about it. But yeah, wasn't as difficult as I expected. Bit of faffing, but wasn't as difficult as I expected. I'm going to do that really, really annoying YouTuber thing now of saying, we're going to leave this episode here. If you want to see the rest of me sorting this bumper out, you're going to have to watch the next Caddy episode. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing, press that little bell to get a notification, drop us a like on the video and a comment as well is always appreciated. We'll leave that one then, and guys, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy.